Warning. The Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will also be spoilers for various anime throughout the course of this episode. Please use caution in case we discuss a series that you have yet to finish. Finally, the opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and will not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, denizens of the dark internet, to this little corner of the dark realm, which we call the Dub Talk Podcast, where on any given night we cover the latest and greatest in anime. Tonight is a bit special, however, as we decide to dive deep into the depths of despair. And we're not necessarily covering new anime, but it is something I've been meaning to cover for a very long time. Oh, where are my manners? I should introduce myself and my friends before we start talking about this. I am the Demon Lord second in command, the great Jamal. And with me, I have our resident masochist of the podcast and very hardworking man, Andrew.
Oh God, yes! Please, degrade me more! Tell me I'm cancelled more! It only makes me hard. I'm sorry. Mike's hot. Hello! How's everybody going? How's everybody doing?
Yes, we have a very special guest tonight. Returning from the Aha and San episode, the Dark Empress of Dank Memes himself, Mr. Josh, aka Crimson Echidna.
I'm their prisoner. They kept me locked in the dungeon for the past 3 years just because I made a kidding joke.
It's true. He did make a terrible joke that had to get him thrown in jail. That is typically how he ends up on these. Anyways, welcome back, friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. I'm just thankful for the be back here once again. I'm glad I didn't burn bridges the last time.
Cheers. You're doing fine. And the good news is you kind of know what we're about, both as a fan and both as the guy who I chat with on the regular and also knows what I look at. You know everything that I look at. You know what I'm about, so that means we are basically blood brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in case you don't know what we're talking about, we're actually covering somewhat oldie but goodie. We'll be covering the dub of the Great Jahy Would Not Be Defeated.
Anyway,
yeah.
I'm trying to remember when the show came out. I remember the dub, specifically the time frame when it came out, but the show I think was a little ahead.
Let me break it down to you. The dub came out summer 2021. I mean, the show came out... Oh, let me rewind. The show came out summer 2021. The dub followed a year later, December 2022, and it had wrapped almost 3 years ago next month.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I vividly remember the timeline because after I did the Aharon episode, Jamal messaged me. He's like, hey, do you want to be on the Jahy episode? I'm like, yeah, sure, that can happen any day now. And that was 3 years ago.
I remember the very specific timeline because the Jahy dub effectively came out in that weird interval range where, like, Crunchyroll and Funimation were becoming each other, but you could still access the Funimation player and site.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like a very specific timeline in that regard. So it's when the merging began, but there was still just enough purple into the paint canvas.
And we still believed all the old Funimation shows were going to make it onto the Crunchyroll site.
Oh, I just made myself sad. Yeah. So, this is one I will give Jamal, good old buddy, old pal, I will give you props for something, because there are a lot of episodes that get pitched and kinda get tossed at the wayside for one reason or another. Scheduling conflicts, prioritizing the more recent stuff, there's an episode I really want to do that I couldn't do because I broke my fucking foot, and as soon as I broke my foot, I'm like, oh, this episode's never happening now. You have kept at wanting to do Jahy for several years now, and legitimately I am impressed at your tenacity and conviction, and we are now finally here at this izakaya with drinks and booze in hand and way, way less money than we'd care to have in our pockets to finally talk about the great Jahy.
It's weird feeling to being on this side of the izakaya getting drunk with y'all just this one night. Thank God I'm not working overtime again. But in case you're curious about the show yourself, here's a synopsis for you. Man, I wish I had a physical copy in front of me, because once she was the second most powerful being in all of the Dark Realms, Jahy, the Demon Lord's right-hand woman. But then came the magical girl, and in no longer than it takes to shatter a mana crystal, the world was destroyed and Jahy flung down from her perch. Now she's stuck in a child's body, lives in a crappy rundown apartment, and scours the human world for enough pieces of the mana crystal, obviously. The synopsis was a little better than expected. But yeah, this is pretty much more or less a reverse isekai. If you're familiar with The Devil's a Part-Timer, this is the double standard edition.
With all
Okay.
More or less.
So, this is The Devil is a Part-Timer meets Himoto Umaru-chan. That is basically how I would pitch it. And it is basically that, oh yeah, she is like this cool, powerful, sexy demoness, but because her power's all fucky, she turns into a little itty-bitty gremlin that kind of sounds like this. And she's doing her best, and she's broke as shit, and she's trying to start from fresh.
So she's basically living the millennial experience.
Oh, like, the older I am now, watching Jahy, I'm like, oh, fuck, man. Except this one, she's a lot closer with her landlord than, like, any of us will ever be.
The actual fantasy of this anime.
The actual fantasy, having a reasonable landlord that might have a heart underneath that greed. But, yeah. Also, half the appeal of the Great Jahy is, hey, what's that girl on the cover? No, not the small one in the shirt. No, what's the one with, like, tall, wearing those fucking, like, dominatrix boots and, like, breast poppin' boobily, and she's got, like, the kitty hair ears. You know, you see that design and you're like, oh my god. Yeah. So the creator of this likes his hot ladies, that's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's funny because in preparation for that, I had been reading the manga, and there are some slight differences, although I am kind of a little sad that the anime only ended up to chapter 68, not chapter 69.
Look, the anime world was not ready for the hardcore Sarva boss 69 session. That was destined. That was destined. They couldn't adapt it because the people weren't ready for it.
Yeah,
yet they give us an anime only ending.
I mean, look.
Anyway,
you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyways, we'll get to that.
Also, you might recognize like the character designs. The mangaka of it is the same as the maid I hired recently is Mysterious.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell that he has a type.
He has a type, but I'll also say that's a pretty good type. There are some fiends out there that know what they're about, and you know what? I respect them. He also has one other series that doesn't have a manga that I may or may not bring up later. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But, enough of the festivities. I think it's probably time we best talk about the dub of the show by getting to it with our ADR staff, don't you think?
Let's do that.
Yes, so, directed the dub of the Great Jahy is one Jonathan Rigg, who is assisted by Jordan Dash Cruz, Kevin Thurwell, and Kristen McGuire. And handling the scripts is Ben Phillips. Jonathan Rigg, you might have heard him talk about us previously in the Patreon episode of the Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. But he's also directed other shows such as Blue Lock, Dragon Ball Daima, A Galaxy Next Door, most recently My Dress Up Darling Season 2, and Trapped in a Dating Sim.
You know what? The fact that Josh is here, I'm shocked you didn't mention that he also directed Aharon-san Oaxaca Renai's second and final season.
Okay.
I thought about that too, but, you can only pick and choose so much.
It all comes full circle.
It's like my 23, everything just comes together.
Jordan Dash Cruz, he's also assistant directed for other shows such as Fervent, Beyond Journey's End, A Galaxy Next Door, Requiem of the Rose King, Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts, and The Sound of Affection. Kevin Thurwell has also helped out on 100 Girlfriends, both seasons actually, both 3 Season 2, Deadmau5 Death Play, My Dress Up Darling Season 2, and of course Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Kristen McGuire, you've also seen her direct both 3 Gamers, Kaguya-sama Love is War, Smile Down the Runway, and Tsukigaki-Rei. Ben Phillips, this is actually the first time we're talking about him as a scriptwriter, as far as I can recall.
I'm not 100% sure that's true. That being said, I am really glad. Ben Phillips is somebody who's definitely deserves a lot more accolades, so this will be fun getting to talk about his work.
Yes, because for the longest time he'd been both a production assistant and a subtitler for Funimation and Crunchyroll. But for his script work, you've seen him write for other shows such as Both 3 Season 2, Buddy Daddies, Deadmau5 Death Play, The Duke of Death has made Seasons 2 and 3, and Takt Op Destiny. Just to name a couple.
Nice. So. Alright. So this has been an interesting one to revisit in some ways. I believe this is kind of one of those fun... This is one of those fun ones to look back on because it's kind of like as much of an experimentation and like training wheels project as it is very much a lot of newer people getting their footing in understanding how this stuff works. I believe at the time this was a couple of the members of the cast, like, probably their biggest roles they had ever booked at that time. And also, yeah, I believe this was like Jonathan Rigg's first year as a full-time director over in the Dallas side of things. So yeah, it's an interesting little project. It's definitely, I don't know how to describe it. So there's a phrase I like to bring up a lot of times where you could be like 9 people's favorite thing or 100 people's 9th favorite thing, which is basically like about like making art that appeals to everybody but like is just kind of like one in the background, but like making something that is like very hyper specific that like really like hits hard with like a specific group of people. That's what I feel like Jahy is for you, Jamal, in that I can tell this show was like never going to be like a huge hit for a lot of people, but it's a very charming, very cozy little reverse fantasy slice of life series with some very attractive, pretty cute ladies. And the dub is fascinating in that it's got a lot of people who are like very much industry veterans, but also like a lot of real fresh talent, some of which like were really green by episode 1, that like eventually find their footing and get very comfortable in their what exactly is Jahy wearing? Like what would you call that? Like I look at that as like a dominatrix getup. Like she wears her like slutty stilettos and you can tell if she steps on you you're going to have a very good time. So yeah, interesting product overall. It is definitely very charming. It is very cozy. It is a ton of fun. I can definitely tell that the people that worked on this was definitely a very fun, surreal experience. Some really good comedic chops on display. There's a lot of, like, heart that goes into, like, good performance, but also, like, good comedy is hard, especially when you're working with dubbing and lip flaps. So to get, like, a funny performance and a funny script simultaneously within, like, a finite amount of flaps is always a tall task. And even though Jahy herself may come up short, she races to the occasion when she absolutely needs to. And I would say the same about this dub as well.
Alright, so I guess
Go for it, Josh.
If I had to jump in, I originally watched Jahy a couple years ago because Crunchyroll, they have a live streaming channel where they kind of rotate a lot of their shows, so I ended up watching Jahy like through reruns through that. And during my experience with it, I found it to be a pretty charming show. Like, I don't think it's one of those like secret gems of the season, but it's one of those shows that I enjoyed my experience watching it. It's kind of like a meat and potatoes, or even like a good thing of like Kraft's mac and cheese. When you warm that up, when you have a taste for it, it kind of hits just the right spot. That's kind of like how I felt about the show, and even about the dub, where a lot of the writing, it doesn't punch up in a way that a couple of other shows does, but there is like a lot of really good jokes like littered throughout it to help to elevate it. Like, as far as scripting, one of my favorite jokes happened to be during the ending segment where they're having a wrestling match, and they just kind of peppered in this "Fight Forever" chant with the crowd. That's kind of something you'll get from like actual professional wrestling. I thought that was like a really smart thing to add in there. So it's just like a little small gems they add throughout the show that really elevates it.
Remember when she saves that guy in the fucking ocean and they throw in a SpongeBob my leg?
Yeah.
Fucking... That was a surreal one. I remember, like, Like, there's just, like, enough, like... The script has aged well in that, like, there's not a huge amount of, like, those pop culture references, but at the same time, it's just got, like, the charm and the goofy antics. Like, this is... It is not, like, a high-octane comedy. It's a lot more just kind of like a comfy sitcom, if that makes sense. Like, this is not going to be, like, the hardcore belly laughs. This is that level of, like, oh, I watch this because this is, like, one of those comfort shows that you watch. Like, it's like seeing the good old gag with the laugh track, and then it's just like, Jahy! Hey, you guys! You know, something like that. I'm not even going to propose the who's the Joey or who's the Kramer or whatever the fuck. Well, that is a million questions and a half.
Don't need that.
But, yeah.
You got... Alright, then you got more to add, Josh? Or?
Oh, no, I think that really hit the spot for me.
Yeah, I think it hit the spot for me too. Because one of the things I really love about the show is like the way it kind of approaches this comedy. Because like you can have like a really big punchline like in the show, and then like everything just flattens out, or you can like balance your comedy very evenly throughout the show. Just keeping that balance is enough for me to enjoy a show like this, especially with one that has an unusual episode count of 20. What really made the show work for me, I can't believe I'm saying this, I think I might have gotten the inspiration from Greg, because I remember Greg talked about this show originally.
I think Greg, I remember being a big cheerleader for this. Yes, the famous Pika Greg, the guy who we talk shit about on the regular. He's a good guy. He has terrible taste in things, but sometimes he has good taste in things.
But I feel like it's a good coin flip when he recommends you something.
No, it's not that he has terrible taste in anime. He has taste in terrible anime.
Greg, I believe you enjoyed Ugly Mug Epic Fighter. I don't believe it's good. I don't believe it's good at all, and I will refuse to watch it. Love you, buddy. Anyways, but yes, I do remember him being one of the champions for this show, even back when it was like just a sub-simulcast before this got announced for a dub like a year after the fact. And then, yeah, he posted it, and it seemed very cute and cozy. And, yeah, I'm glad I did eventually finally pick this up.
Yeah, so having said that, it's really something that kind of struck my fancy after a while, because there'll be shows like people talk about I probably won't be interested in because of the hype until I see it for myself. So when I started watching Jahy, not just because of the dubcast, but also because it was very interesting to see these new people. It actually kind of broke my stigma I had about training wheel stubs, because at that point it didn't really feel like a training wheel stub anymore to me, because after the first couple episodes it seems like everybody kind of found a niche, and it being a small cast, it definitely made it a bit easier, a bit harder to concentrate on, depending on who's talking at any given point. And I do remember reading in the interview, I can't find it, but I could swear is Mr. Riggs said there was a particular piece of music that got him interested in the show, and it was a good thing he did. But I guess we'll get a little more into that when we talk about the main characters. As for the script writing, Ben did a pretty solid job. He only punched up where it needed to at times, or when you least expect it. What's up?
Oh, I was just going to add on to that and say, yeah, for what I believe was one of his first major dub writing shows, Ben Phillips did an exceptional job getting all the characters all the characters' personalities coming across, while also just adding in just the right amount of spice and zing when it really needed it. Because, look, you need something to go with those dollar store sprouts, man. You need something to go with that. It can't just be the taste of sprouts. You gotta season it, you gotta flavor it, you gotta cook it, you gotta stir fry it, you gotta air fry it. Do you think Jahy could be fixed? Do you think half of Jahy's problems would be fixed if she got an air fryer?
No, because she has to have something to air fry.
That, and knowing her luck, she would destroy it before the end of the day.
Either she or the landlord.
I feel she would be insufferable if she bought an air fryer. She feels like she would go all in to being the unironic, you don't even own an air fryer landlord. You won't know the delicious taste of fried sprouts. Oh no, my air fryer! Something like that. But yeah,
she would look up the different hacks you can do with the air fryer. It's I'm going to air fry my soup, and she would destroy it.
God. Anyways, for me, it's not even about the air fryer. To me, it's about the rice cooker. The rice cooker is the real good shit, man.
That's Oshirushi, boy. Woo, let me tell you.
But yeah, no, we're big fans of Ben Phillips on this Here Dub Talk podcast, and yeah, no, legit shouting out, his script work is really solid. A lot of really defined personalities, really funny moments of dialogue that are expertly delivered by the cast. Absolutely killer job on him and Jonathan and the whole crew's parts. This is a very charming, very fun little series, and I can tell a lot of heart went into this.
Oh, yeah. It's very fun, very charming, very cute indeed. It amazes me the antics of a lot of these characters, but they're very well balanced. They kind of match each other's personalities, more or less. So. But I think having said that, we should probably get into the characters themselves, because
let's do that.
This is not a big list. As a matter of fact, some of these are probably gonna go pretty quickly, but starting with the narrator of the show, and pretty good narrator too. Enough said, not much to say about him. Kokoro is a little girl that Jahy encounters during her search for the mana crystals. She's very friendly, is willing to help her out at any given time during her search. Kind of makes Jahy humbled in the middle of the story, to the point that Jahy seems to feel like the her newfound realm has kind of affected her a bit, but she deeply cares for Kokoro, the deep down within. We have Sorva, who supposedly claims to be number 3 in the demon realm. Kaya has a one-sided rivalry with Jahy to the point that every time she tries to sabotage him, she automatically fails. It is funny to watch, but...
She's doing her goddamn best, okay? Don't you make fun of her. She's gotta get her to
I'm not. Yeah.
Like, you know how Luigi wins by doing nothing? Like, Sarva loses by trying to do everything.
Bless her heart. Bless her heart. She's gotta get her one day.
Yeah, speaking of blessing hearts, we have the Dark Lord, who only shows up in the latter half of the show because her heart is basically a mana crystal, and once the mana crystal was shattered, she disappeared for a while until a magical girl collected all the crystals to prevent misfortune, and then she reappears inside her house. We discovered the Dark Lord is not really all cracked up that Jahy makes her out to be, but I guess because she idolizes her, we see it more differently than Jahy does. She basically eats, sleeps, and eats.
She is a cat.
She's a lot more clingy to specific people than, like, some people want her attention. Jahy wants more of her attention, but she goes to somebody else, much to her chagrin.
Oh yeah, speaking of clingy and wants attention, we also have Sue, the mysterious light we see in the last quarter of the episode. It turns out she's the reason for pretty much more or less everybody suffered this story, from the magical girl transformation to Jahy's suffering to the Dark Lord. Pretty much all she wanted to seek was attention from her, and in doing so, she shatters the one thing that's most precious to her sister, the mana crystal, which caused despair for everybody everywhere. Jesus Christ, the sibling rivalry, you fucking kidding me?
You know what?
When I saw this the first time, I couldn't fucking believe it. I'm like, wait a minute, you mean to tell me this entire thing happened because she was jealous and petty over losing her sister to some make-believe realm she created out of nowhere? And all you doing is causing more trouble than she has just to get her back? I mean, I know what it's like to be the little sibling in the family, but Jesus Christ, girl, have a heart.
Jamal, she just wanted to build a snowman.
Oh my god.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Like, legit,
being
like,
the youngest is suffering.
Like, she's a brat, but I can tell there's something kind of, like, fun about her being, like, a little brat. Though I did think she was an angel at first, and then she is just a literal white devil. Which, I guess in a show of tan goddesses, I guess does make her stand out. I mean, what?
Yeah. Yeah, it does kind of make her stand out. And then we also have the landlord and her sister, the boss. The landlord wants obviously run down red controlled apartment building. Basically the two took Jahy in when she fell out of existence in her own realm, and then kind of decided to put her up in her old broken down apartment, which, man, that is so goddamn dingy. I couldn't believe it.
God, you said red stabilized apartment, and my brain was like, do I make the joke that will date this immediately, or do I hold back? Either way.
I'm trying the best way to describe that apartment, because that apartment's so goddamn dingy. All I know is
It could have gone to a single mother, Jamal. Alright. I got it out of my system.
Anyway, to Jahy, she seems to matter, but that's only because Jahy's too cheap to pay the rent on time. But deep down, she is caring. She kind of has a tough attitude that she kind of grew into in her later years, after, spending so much time being coddled by her sister when she was younger. To which the boss, she's the boss, alright. Boss is really caring. She runs her own izakaya called
Pub Mao.
I forget what it is.
Pub Mao.
Bar something Mao.
It's the devil pub.
Different. Yeah. Which is funny because the name's slightly different but remains the same in the manga. Anyway, she's caring and can be easily forgiving, but she's also able to deal out very thoughtful, very inspirational quotes whenever somebody's down in the dubs or needs to pick me up. And she's got a couple pick-me-ups, alright.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jahy gave up her quest for world domination just because she got RR once.
I mean, let's be real. Could getting nestled in some big mommy milkers fix us? No. But it sure as shit could help.
I'm just reminded of you in that one episode, I forget which one, but you was like, she's just covered in a warm, suckling embrace. And I'm like, jeez. I wish I could remember what episode that was.
I'm gonna be real.
That's a deep cut.
There are so many episodes where I make a comment about a milfy character's gigantic tits.
Speaking of deep cuts,
that does not narrow it down. Okay, Druge. Okay, you know what? Before you get into what Druge is, let me paint a picture for the audience here. Do you guys remember the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yeah.
You assume I watched it.
Okay, so in the movie The Wolf of Wall Street, Leonardo DiCaprio is a up-and-coming Wall Street corrupt business CEO man that is raising up his money and his wealth and his influence. And at some point in the movie where he's got that wealth and power and influence is really making it big and striking it rich, he goes to a dominatrix where she steps on him, whips him, and shoves a lit candle into his asshole. What I'm saying is, the Leonardo DiCaprio CEO in Wolf of Wall Street, who is getting beat on and, like, abused by his dominatrix, that's Druge. That's Druge with Jahy.
I'm not gonna lie to you, part of the phone call cut out for me, and then it came back, I heard, shoved a lit candle, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
No, yes. Literally, they shove a lit candle in his ass in that movie. I saw that movie sitting next to my mom, by the way. That was an insane experience. None of us knew. That was an experience.
Oh, it was a family movie.
It was a family movie. That was a family movie. But also the Quaalude scene was really fucking
jacking it off.
The fucking Quaalude scene is still pretty fucking funny. Anyways, what I'm saying is Druge is the type of CEO that has a secret dominatrix that uses and abuses her on the side. As you can tell, she really wants her play session to go really well, but she just has to keep her phone on, and it's really killing her lady boner. Like, let's be real, there's a couple of people with some kinks in this series. I think Druge has, like, the strongest kinks of them all. Definitely the most, intrusive, aggressive, basically barely on the edge, restraining herself kinks. She wears a goddamn maid outfit, for God's sakes.
Druge is
it's a goth Lolita outfit, but that's splitting hairs.
Yeah, it's like she's interesting just because it's like it would cross into mean-spirited if she was just like the victim of Jahy's abuse, but that's the attention she wants from Jahy, and when Jahy starts being nice to her, she thinks something is up. So that kind of loops it back to being hilarious.
It does, like I said,
I'm kind of curious what Jahy did to her with that chainsaw in the early episodes.
Like, it really does feel like, yeah, you thought she was going to be a poor, unfortunate soul, and then it's like, nope, she just really gets off to it, man. Stop being nice to me! she's like, "You're disgusting," and she's like, just a fucking damn ready to burst. Just full on Poncho Splashstone shit.
But yes, in her day job, she is a CEO boss. So born to bottom, forced to girl boss.
Wait. Did you just say born to bottom, but to girl boss?
Forced to girl boss.
Oh, okay.
Ugh.
I'm sorry.
She is the okay. Considering she is a head executive CEO, she is the textbook definition of a powerful bottom.
And it's funny because this powerful bottom in the demon world, she has the power of mind control, basically. She controls people's hearts through the power of eye contact. And she kind of used that in the Earth realm to pretty much get what she wanted, more or less. But it seems that the one thing that she can never really get is basically the old Jahy back. She gets Jahy alright, but, not in the way that she remembers.
She also has to fight.
Although
she also has to fight for her attention like a jail sex.
She's also an idiot every time Jahy tries to open her mouth regarding certain things. Like, so when you can find the magical girl, you defeated her then. And then Jahy just kind of plays it off.
True.
And it makes for funny storytelling, but it kind of does feel awkward afterwards.
True is just what happened when your hype woman is also your biggest simp. Like, she's gassing you up and sucking you off at the same time.
Yeah, Drew just a handful. And of course, an even bigger handful is the magical girl, because... Okay, I'm just gonna stick with her given name, because she's a high schooler by the name of Kyoko Jingu.
Oh, you're using her government?
Her government name.
Because I can't say the magical girl every time on magical girl is it, because remember, I'm a guy that watches some magical girl shows, so I got like more or less a database in my head. Okay, so yes, Kyoko is a high schooler. Grew up alone. Didn't have any friends. She decided that the best way to persevere in life is to take others' misfortune off their hands and make it her own. And in that way, she ends up becoming a bit of a masochist. Of course, not as much as Druge, but it's more about pride for her than about pleasure.
So Jamal, what you're telling me is that being a magical girl is suffering.
I'm gonna say...
Yes, Josh.
Jamal, it's a little bit of pleasure. Have you seen that girl? It's a little bit of pleasure.
She takes pleasure because Jahy says that she'll love her forever and ever, basically. That's the pleasure part. The pride is, she just taking other people's misfortune for her own.
Okay. Josh, I need you to back me up on this. That girl is taking pleasure from that shit falling on her and, getting beat up too, right?
Alright, so there is an episode where Sarva is trying to lay a bunch of Looney Tunes traps for Jahy.
Yeah.
And the magical girl is the one who gets captured in it instead. The magical girl likes the attention, so she's doing it just to get Jahy to watch her, so she's more of an exhibitionist versus a masochist.
Oh, fuck! Oh my god, you're right! She's literally screwing up and taking Jahy's verbal abuse while Druge watches. Oh my god, you're right! Oh, Kyoko Jingu's the one in the closet with the Superman shirt! Oh no!
Ah.
No, see, I like the fact that Josh and I are here so we can 2-1 you on. No, it is as dirty as you think it's going for.
I would rethink that sentence. Jamal.
No, it's not a double team. It's an Eiffel Tower. Get it right.
Oui.
All right. Magical girl, yes. Kyoka Jingu. Her.
Jingu.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say magical girl.
You can go Jenga because she gets toppled easily.
Capital T magical girl.
Anyway, speaking of exhibitionism and antics, Jahy, the Dark Lord second in command, was befallen by the destruction the magical girl caused. All's out of favor into the Earth realm. Suffers a lot of misfortune, a lot more than Druge wants. She's pretty much putting up a brave face, trying to figure out a way to restore the Dark Realm, and when she does get some opportunities to recover mana crystals and stuff, she takes anything less than pleasure in it because, you know, it's just, right now it's pretty much a means to an end for her, but as long as she gets what she wants, she'll be okay with it. And then, you know, she finds out the whole meaning behind the Dark Realm and everything, and I too would be pissed if I ended up in somebody's sibling disputes, in their squabbles. But deep down, all her actions kind of humbled her, and kind of softened her.
She learned character development, and then she's doing her best. She learned hard work. She learns
character development. Yeah, she suddenly learns what's important, although she is a bit forgetful at times, because there have been a couple of times where Druge helps her out majorly with some plans and she just completely forgot about them. That new restaurant being one of them.
Yeah, she's doing her thing, but also, like, it's a lot of, like, fish out of water? Fish out of water story, basically, where it's like all these new things while trying to survive in different environments, getting like all this shit. It's funny, it's amusing, they do some fun stuff with it. I will say, I'll be real, maybe it's just because she spends a lot more of it in like the tiny t-shirt, but also like her outfit as Prime Jahy, it's hot, but it's still relatively tame to me. I don't know. I guess it's the idea of, like, there is still just enough clothing on while showing just enough skin that it's kind of like the perfect, like, combination where it's, like, it's showing just enough, but also not enough that it's still hot, and, like, fucking, like, the boots and the boots.
Is like how the camera lingers on the character, too.
Yeah.
Oh, also the boots and the booty shorts. It's like, oh my lord. Like, look, it's not...
Lord have mercy.
Look, the author knows what they're about. They knew that, like, Prime Jahy is, like, sex appeal. That is a hot lady. That is a hot, fine demon lady. She's not even really that okay. She's like a tan cat girl demon lady, but also, like, I could still fuck with that. She fine. And also she goblin. She also goblin gremlin babby. Women can be two things at once.
So I also had this epiphany as I was watching the series. So you would say that Jahy is basically the guardian of the monocrystal, right?
More or less.
And when it got destroyed, it got scattered to this new world she had to travel to gather up all the pieces, right?
Yeah.
So, does this remind you of anyone?
I swear to God, if you say something Sonic's X related, it's going to be like one of the same brainwave.
Yeah, look at the chat.
What the hell did you... Hell yeah.
What did you fucking put? Oh my god!
Mother! You... Oh my god.
Yeah. What I'm saying is Jahy's basically Knuckles the Echidna.
I mean... They're both black. I mean, yeah.
That was delayed.
I said that when I'm the whitest guy in the room.
See, I was thinking Sonic. I was thinking the beginning of Sonic X. You were thinking the Sonic movies.
All right, Jahy can get so many crystals on Pumpkin Hill.
And she's aware of the effect that she has on Druge.
Is Druge? Oh my god, Druge is Rouge.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, we're cooking here. You gotta just fucking hand that shit. Give us the wok.
Does that mean the magical girl is Amy Rose?
Yeah. And I guess Kokoro would be that one little human child from the Sonic cartoon that no one liked.
Wait, which one? Wait, which
What
human?
was that
Thorndike.
kid's name? Chris? What's his name?
Chris
Thorndike.
Oh, Chris. I thought you meant there was like one from the other cartoons. I was like, those had humans?
Oh,
Like, Eggman doesn't count. He. Anyways, moving on. We should probably get to who actually plays these characters.
yeah.
Yeah, we probably should. The narrator is voiced by Ray Hood. Kokoro is voiced by Brooklyn Wade. Sarva is played by Brittany Lauder. The Dark Lord is played by Crystal Laporte. Sue, the mysterious being, is played by Celeste Perez. The Landlord is played by Suzanne DeCarmer. The Boss is played by Natalie Hoover. Druge is played by Monet Lerner. The Magical Girl is played by Brittany Karbowski. And Jahy herself is voiced by Lizette Monique Diaz. Why is my voice doing this all of a sudden?
Alright.
As for other stuff you've heard them in Ray Hood, you've heard of Charon in Fire Force, Kizaru in One Piece, and Leonhard in Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Brooklyn Wade is relatively green as far as other roles I could find. She was a Yukimi in Bofuri Season 2, and Asumi Kiyomizu in Remain. Brittany Lauder, you've heard as Doctor in Akudama Drive. Yusuri heard Dr. Stone, and Foo Fighters in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean. Crystal Laporte, you've heard as Mirai Koyama in Beyond the Boundary, Reiko Kashiwara in Gunbuster, and Emily Tobuhoshi or Kizuna Yellow in The Red Ranger Becomes an Adventurer in Another World. Celeste Perez, you've heard as Sayoshi Oyama in Deadmau5 Depths Play, Amo Empu in Gachi Yakuta, and Rin Shima in Laidback Camp, just to name a few roles. Suzanne DeCarmer, you've heard as young Sai Itoshi in Season 2 of Blue Lock, the Fire-Breathing Bug in Deadmau5 Death Play, and Shio Inukai in Deki no Mogura, the Earthbound Mole. Natalie Hoover, you've heard as Sonia Nevermind in the Danganronpa franchise, Anya Helsing in Rio Rainbow Gate, and Elizabeth X in Welcome to Demon School Iruma-kun.
Good.
Monet Lerner, you've heard as Lulune in The Fruits of Evolution, Lydia Ainsworth in The Ice Blade Sorcerer Shall Rule the World, and Helko in Love After World Domination. Brittany Karbowski, you've heard as Ai Shindo in Beyond the Boundary, Kanade in Bofuri, Mikoto Misaka and every other version of Misaka in the Cellular Dex franchise, and Hisako Arato in Food Wars. As for Lisette Monique Diaz, you've heard them as Ominous the Hellcat in... let me take a deep breath. Cause I decided to be a little stupid for some reason. You've heard her as Ominous the Hellcat and chilling in another world with level 2 super cheat powers. Hinamario and Why Does Nobody Remember Me in This World. Tarashima and Kaguya-sama Love is War Ultra Romantic, aka the girl with the helmet who can withstand a blast from a Card 98K in the noggin. Sai from Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. And Renan Sagata and Watai Kun's is about to collapse for no other reason than just to say I need a drink. I think it's safe to start with the narrator, Kokoro and Solver, because the two of them we're not going to have a lot to say. Although, I will say, Ray Hood as the narrator is pretty much a delight. Because, you know, he kind of gives off that vibe of... He reminds me of Jeremy Schwartz from Moonshiners and the narrator from the Dukes of Hazzard, you know. Them Duke boys are at it again. Kind of has that little southern drop.
There is something delightfully southern about the narrator specifically that tickles me.
Yeah.
The great Jahy sure got herself in a fair share of trouble today. But she learned that at the end of the day, friendship is magic.
Silver's planning something again. Must be a day that ends in Y.
Yeah, that was my favorite line from the narrator.
Oh God, I see. Yeah. There's some good bits in there. Yeah, he's got a good level of sass.
Write some down.
He's got a good level of sass to him, both like talking about Jahy and like the people around her, but he's just like very much like he's like a how do I describe it? So if Ian Sinclair Kaguya-sama sounds like he's a guy that's getting fucking fed up with these goddamn idiot kids, Ray Hurd narrator kind of sounds like a fucking, like, farmer that he's like, those crazy chickens, look at them squawking around with their heads and all that. Look at them crazy kids go. Ain't that cute?
It's like the narrator is the proud parent of these dumbass kids.
Yes! Yes!
Yeah.
The proud parents of these dumb dipshit kids. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Okay, that is the exact inflection, and Ray Hurd absolutely nails that with just that level of, like, warmth, charm, and also just a little bit of snark added for good measure. He's a ton of fun. It's very memorable despite the fact that it is an disembodied voice of God. Which we never meet God or the angels. He could be the voice of God. You never know.
And I like the Ian Sinclair comparison that you made because, especially when it's a narrator-heavy like comedy, kind of like the tone of the narrator kind of sets the tone for like what the rest of the humor of the series is gonna be. So
yeah, basically
the fact that it's kind of like this warm sense of sass to like the way he narrates, it kind of like perfectly illustrates the type of show you're gonna be in for.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, it kind of helps drive it home with, like, the little next episode preview, the banjo playing, the tile going. Yeah, it really does provide that kind of vibe for the narrator.
Mm-hmm. It is very Dukes of Hazzard the more I sit on it, man. I'd ask what part of Japan they're in, but, like, I don't even think it matters. Like, it could be Tokyo, but also, like, it could be wherever.
Yeah, it could be. Alright, so up next, Kokoro.
I'm still not sure how I feel about this performance. I watched 20 episodes. I'm unclear if I liked it or not.
I thought it was okay. I mean, I liked it, but I also thought, you know, because it was from somebody you never heard before, but I did not think it was bad in the least. It's just, it's a voice I'm not used to.
Like, it's not that it's somebody I don't know. I think there's just something about it where it's like, to start, it sounds a little bit high or more strained than I think the actress is used to. And it feels like it takes a little longer than it should for them to get comfortable in that voice, if that makes sense.
I think yeah, I understand. I think what it is because, of all the characters I listed, more or less she has the least screen time of anybody. And we only meet her from like episode 10 onwards.
I don't think it's the lack of screen time. I think it's just the fact that
it's not that. It's that. I kind of think it is, because you could slot anybody into that role and it'd be okay, but it would not be your favorite. It would not be of your favorite performance, because you don't even get to understand Kokoro as a person, at the very least.
No,
So we just meet her. She's there.
I disagree. I think the warmth and sincerity of the performance and the character absolutely still comes across. I just think there is something about the voice of Kokoro's voice in particular that sounds a little more strained than I think I would be used to for what is a little anime girl character. It's weird in that I'm not sure if this is a child or I'm not sure if this is an adult struggling to try to play higher for a child. I am unclear of that, genuinely so. I don't think it is a bad performance. I definitely think as the show goes along, Brooklyn absolutely does get what makes Kokoro work, is that in a world of a bunch of these kind of shitty adults and these shitty demons trying to figure it out, she's genuinely just a good kid, and that sincerity genuinely warms Jahy's cold Kokoro to the Dokoro, as you would. But it is definitely to me the weakest performance of the cast, which I feel bad about saying, because I don't think it's bad, but I think it is definitely a performance that I could tell, especially early on when Kokoro's first shows up in the show, it feels like a range that is particularly in a headspace that is less comfortable, is the way it sounds to be. Maybe that could just be her voice, but it's something about the way it comes out. It feels like the actor is struggling a little bit more. That comes across to me. So maybe that's just a personal preference, but it's at least something I want it to at least bring up. I don't think it's bad. Yeah. I could definitely be down to see them do more things, but
I think go ahead.
I was just finishing up my thoughts and saying I liked it I liked it by the end of it, but it definitely took while everybody else got it after the first half, it felt like it took me a little longer than the rest of them to really jive with Kokoro's performance.
Yeah, I can understand where you come from. From the way it sounds, at least to me, it sounds more like it's less the voice and more how the voice is projected, which sometimes when you project it can come across a bit differently than you expect. Which she definitely works as Kokoro. It's just I'm not gonna harp on too much, because like I said, she only has the least to do out of all the characters, but for what Kokoro gives and what she gives as Kokoro, it works.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it's passable enough. I'm saying it's pretty good. Just we all have that little weird spot where we're not completely sure how we feel about it, but for what the show does, it works.
Yeah, if I had to if I had to hop in for this one, I did find this performance to kind of be the weakest of the cast. I'm gonna kind of chalk it up to maybe just like because Brooklyn doesn't have that many voice credits, that is still like a role that she's trying to get used to. Because for Kokoro, she's basically like the innocent, naive child. So stuff like playing the normal person can be kind of hard to convey in a show where like everyone else is so over the top. But I do think like even though the performance can be kind of shaky, the jokes still land, because like what makes Kokoro funny is kind of like her non-reaction to like a lot of the things that come out of Jahy's mouth, that she kind of takes everything Jahy says at face value.
She's basically watching this tiny chuny toddler, and she's just like, oh, that's nice. That's kind of like what my mom said to me when we were eating lunch today.
Yeah.
Well, you see, with that, Josh, when you're a young kid, sometimes people can be easily impressionable when they're young, you know? So, I haven't seen a character like Jahy, you know, is probably like the biggest thing to brighten her day, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed, she is the one character outside of Drew's who will call Jahy the Great Jahy.
I think it's very cute. I think it's very cute that like she specifically asked to be called Great Jahy, and she doesn't even question it or say why that's weird. She's like genuinely like just calls her that because that's prefer how she would be addressed. Kokoro is a good kid. She will respect pronouns. Like, I just remember, like, there's a random child that, like, Sarva's, like, helps reunite with her mother, and the child's just like, thank you, big sister, brother, who cares? I'm like, that's a woke-ass kid. You go, woke-ass kid. We need more of them woke-ass kids. So, yes, Kokoro could be a woke-ass kid, too. And then there's Sarva.
Yep.
Oh, Sarva.
She's trying her best.
I love Sarva. Absolute Looney Tunes self-sabotaging dweeb. Just doing her best, trying to get her rival to know her, all while having a fucking gay panic awakening all the same time. Just fucking... Brittany Lauda is like... And people need to really get on Brittany Lauda's level as far as their comedy work, because it is just incredible Looney Tunes shit. Fucking legendary Looney Tunes fucking chaos shit. And it just cracks me up every time she's being a fucking Kremlin loser. I love her. I love Brittany Lauda's Sarva so much. She's so funny. She's so like, aha! I am a genius! Oh no! Oh god, why did I do that? Oh no!
That's basically it.
She's getting bullied by dogs. She's getting bullied by dogs. She's getting belly rubs like a dog.
She got Red Rocket.
Oh god! Damn it! Wait, no. No, she was a bitch dog. Was that? Would that?
That's not for later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Pearl Jammed.
Even flow. Sorry.
Anyways, I like Brittany Lauda just as this dweeb that's like, you will be my rival! And she doesn't even know who she is for the whole show. She's like, literally, I have never met you. Who are you? And it's like, you're right. They haven't interacted, actually. She's just been following her from afar. She interacted with the boss, and like, legit, mommy milkers won't fix all of your problems. but they sure can help. Also, speaking of double team, I think there could be something going on with her and the landlord too. Just saying.
I mean, the landlord doesn't know it, but she kind of hustled her for money.
Yeah.
Which, as an aside, so since we're talking about like the fact that like I ship Sarva and the landlord and boss pretty hard, just on the grounds of like, man, this little short-haired girl with like purple hair and this long-haired girl with blonde hair and big boobs, and then I realized, oh wait, they're a reverse color palette of the same author's Yuri manga series called... Gentlemen, would you like to read the name of the title of that series?
Breasts are my favorite things in the world.
I know. Well, you tried to go Gaston with that title, Josh.
So yes, they literally the boss and Sarva kinda look like color swap variations of the leading female characters in the Yuri rom-com Breasts Are My Favorite Things in the World. And tell me you can see it. Tell me you can see my vision.
Of breasts or...
Shut up. No, I mean, like, the similarities of the characters, but, like, with swapped color designs.
Yeah, he definitely uses similar character designs across his different manga, so I can see it.
Like I said, it's not
Fuck off, cookies.
It's not quite Hero...
Okay.
It's not quite Hero... It's not quite Hero Mashima tier of, like, that is just Lucy again. But it's just like, I literally, they remind me a lot of the boss and Sarva, so I'm just gonna run with that as an AU because I ship it real hard. Sarva deserves it. Sarva deserves it. Sarva's worked really hard.
Deserves to be happy.
Sarva deserves to be happy and to suck on some mommy milkies. I do think Mommy Milkies would fix her. Though I guess whatever's wrong with her is also really fucking funny.
Yeah, Sarva's kind of interesting because it's funny. You can talk about her like so much, but when you think about it, she only appears in like a handful of episodes in the grand scheme of things.
She is the fan. You know what she is? Okay, you know what? Okay. She is the breakout fan favorite sitcom character that was supposed to be a one and done that became a recurring character because they were so surprisingly breakout popular. Oh god, I hate that I'm about to say this.
She's the Kimmy Gibbler or the Steve Urkel?
She's the lesbian Steve Urkel!
As soon as you described that, I was like, yeah, he's going Steve Urkel.
Just fucking Sarva voice as she literally just drowns in Boss's titties. Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Fucking. This is gonna be a fun one. Alright. But no, Brittany Lauda just absolutely like god tier comedic chops as a comic performer. Like, Brittany's a very great actor in a lot of different roles, but like, man, between this and like the closest I could even say to Sarva to any of Brittany's other characters is Saki from Girlfriend.
See, I was gonna make the comparison because that was the patron choice I selected for you guys based off of Brittany Lauda's performance in it.
I forgot! I fucking forgot you were the one that submitted that one.
Yeah, and then I found out you even finished the show. You made us watch that.
Oh, I
mean,
watched all
granted,
of
I
it.
had the good.
I'm gonna be real. He's not even the only patron to do that. We literally did a convenience store boyfriend episode.
I
and
know
the patron person was like, "Oh, I haven't even finished this. I just thought this might be fun." I respect that.
Oh, girlfriend.
Oh, I remember that episode, Andrew. I quote edited that. That was uncut. What you saw was what you got. Easiest editing job of my life.
All right. Anyways,
but back to Brittany. I think Brittany was like the perfect casting as Solver because, well, I think one of the things that really sealed the deal for me was the Doggy Deluxe incident, which she drank. I swear to God, that's what they called the medicine in both the anime and the manga, and Solver turns into a Shiba Inu. Which is funny because Brittany also owns a Shiba Inu. I was like, what are the chances? But
Japan really
has
likes
some great comedic chops.
Apparently, Japan really likes their shoobs. It's a popular dog breed, the shoobs.
So it's like their golden retriever?
Kinda, yeah.
But yeah, it's not only the antics of when she turned into a dog, it's also the delivery too. Because, you know, she tried to calm herself down until the medicine wears off, and then all of a sudden, she's just outside playing in the sun.
Okay, real talk, if you want to talk about kinks, Sarava needs some fucking pet play, girl. Like,
I was not talking about kinks, Andrew, but okay.
Okay, no. What I'm saying is she is the golden retriever girlfriend. She needs walkies, she needs pets, she needs positive affirmations, and she needs to play ball. I want good things for Sarva. And sometimes those good things involve pets and mommy milkies.
Dumb Talk Drinking Game. Count how many times Andrew says mommy milkies. I sure won't.
Alright,
So
bonus points.
Can we get a counter on the episode?
Bonus points if you are drinking actual milk. I won't ask you how you got the milk, but I will give you kudos if you are drinking milk while I'm talking about mommy milkies.
So anyway, yeah, I think what I like about Brittany's performance is that for the short amount of time that Sarva is actually in the show, she has to go through a range of like all the different types of suffering that she encounters, because there's transforming into a dog, there's her little inner monologue where she's going off about how evil she is while she's doing good deeds across the city.
Oh, just the whole fucking...
She's not the only one.
Just the whole, I am so evil, I'm so diabolical, I scare me sometimes. And it's just like, you fucking dweeb.
There's a moment where, like, she gets magical girl powers, and she tries to challenge Jahy to a fight and loses, and you can kind of hear her voice crack. So it's like a really great job on Brittany's part.
Yep. Yeah, no, this is a very fun performance.
Yes. That having been said, let's go on to the Sicily Bard over here. I will say right off the bat, though, I don't think there's much to be said about the Dark Lord other than Crystal Report makes good ASMR sounds. Although I am curious to see what you were meaning to say, Josh, because you did say you had something to say about her. You said
about the Dark Lord?
You said, oh, she's going to be interesting one to talk about. I'm like, what is there to talk about?
Oh, yeah, she was the best performance in the dub.
All right. All right. You're cooking. You're...
I'm just saying, not everyone...
You better be cooking, because she hungry as fuck, man.
I'm saying that she had that Skip Bayless mentality of,
Oh, oh, my God. You went... Oh... I hate to see Does that mean the sisters are Shannon Sharp in this scenario?
I mean, they had that big falling out, so yeah.
Oh, God.
Anyways, I really do want to give kudos to Crystal Laporte because she does do some real good, like, like, she's just basically, like, the closest way I can describe her is, okay, how do I describe the Dark Lord as a character, and to describe this performance, you know those people who, like...
That's perfect.
Okay, hang on. Do you know those people who humanize their Roombas by feeding it, like, Cheez-Its and then giving it, like, a pet name? The way I can describe Crystal Laporte as the Dark Lord is she perfectly embodies a humanized anthropomorphic Roomba. She sounds what I imagine a Roomba would sound like if it made human speech.
Yeah, I would say that my favorite Dark Lord joke is when she was dropping off the lunch for the magical girl at school. And it's just like a salad. She just gives the magical girl a thumbs up and leaves. And then we find out she ate the food.
The sad part is you could see the slight foreshadowing on that because she had rice on her face when she gave her the lunch.
So yeah, cool character, just not a lot to talk about.
As for Sue, however, I would say, having appeared out of nowhere, and like, I mean, I've listened to a lot of Celeste Perez voice at this point, so I know like she could do no harm. But having her to play a little angsty, little childlike demon lord, I would assume she's also a demon lord. I mean, she has the hordes, for fuck's sake. Have a petty squabble with her sister. I mean, you can really hear the sadness in her voice, but she's also kind of like a little bit daring towards the end because, you know, she tries to play off that like she didn't fix up this party for Jahy and everything because in order for her to maintain her appearance, she has to remain nice in the presence of these people. So I give kudos with that to Celeste for having to deal with a character like this, and it's kind of wild how this character evolves a little bit. Although I just started volume 9 of the manga, and it kind of ends at chapter 1 there. But it's kind of interesting what happens next, and I don't know if we'll ever get any more of this. But I liked Celeste for what she did, and I like Crystal for what she did too, even if she didn't do as much as Celeste. What do you think, Josh?
I think she did a really good job making like two distinguished voices because before she fully appears as Sue, she's also voicing, what's the official name? The mysterious white light, basically the cloud that empowers the magical girls, and it's very two distinct performances because when she turns into Sue, she, much like Lizette as Jahy, does this very bratty voice. Only like with Sue, it's more indignant because she caused a lot of drama for a super petty reason. So she does a very defensive performance with it, and it's good.
And yeah, then the end of that fight turned out like the end of Pokemon the movie, and I was like, oh Jesus! It's a miracle Jahy didn't turn into stone after that.
And that's also one of my favorite jokes, where it turns out Jahy was just playing dead at the end, and she woke up from her coma because she got pissed off.
She got really pissed. It's like, how dare you? How dare you put me for that shit? Say you're sorry. No. Say you're sorry to me. Say it like you mean it. Look me in the eye. Just like the pure indignation. And it's like, yeah, she's pretty justified for that. But no, Celeste Perez being like the little bratty, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. Get off my back, it's fine, baka, is still pretty fun and cute. But she does sound like mysterious and like ethereal until it's like, oh, you're just a little bratty girl who wants big sister's attention. And it's like, you know what? Let's be real. Who hasn't tried to get their family's attention by being a brat and breaking all their toys and turning into a kaiju fight, nearly leveling all of Tokyo? Who hasn't? Who hasn't been in that position?
Except for the Tokyo part, my mom did used to describe me as having Tonka toys when I was a kid. So, yeah. But like I said, being the little sibling in the family, I can understand, but at the same time, like, you gotta learn your distance, girl.
But yeah, no, I like Celeste in this role. And, like, legit, Crystal does deserve the kudos, too, because there's a lot more work that goes into just noises than you think. It's just hard to say.
Oh, yeah.
She does good noises real good. But yeah, no, I like these two. The Dark Lord and Sue are a weird little duo, but I enjoyed their time when they were there.
I think consensus is good. Speaking of sisters, let's go on to the landlord and the boss. Let's save the boss for last. Because I will say this. Hearing Suzanne playing the landlord is kind of interesting because when I first heard her, she kind of gave me Jamie Maki vibes at the beginning.
Me too.
Which is a little bit further exacerbated by the wrestling scene in which her costume looked like something out of Panty and Stocking. And I'm like, okay, this is perfect. Also, that whole dynamic in the wrestling scene was funny.
Fight forever.
Pay me, pay me, pay me! Never, never, never!
We've all had those
Oh,
things.
man.
I love the landlord, but also she is a landlord, so I can only love her so much.
Yeah, she is canonically the worst girl because she's a landlord.
What I'm saying is, if she was in any other profession, honestly, she'd be top tier. Plus, you know, tough girl with the heart of gold is always a good thing. The fact that, like, Sarva's like, oh, she's a tough little gang girl. She's gonna beat me up. She's gonna extort me. Oh, no, she gave me a little umbrella because I'm a little wet pupper. And it's like, oh, yeah, she's nice. And then, like, you see her and Sarva are actually, like, bonding together. That's why I'm like, I wouldn't mind her getting the big sister, little sister tag team. I think it would fix her mental health problems. I don't know how clear I can make it to you that I think lesbian sex would fix Sarva as a person. At the very least, it would help. Anyways, I do like Suzanne as landlord. Like, it's got the right level of, like, tough girl sass to it, while also having, like, she does a real good job bouncing off of, like, the other characters. She has a real good reprieve with, Lizette as Jahy, too. Especially, like, as, like, the bitter, married, like, odd couple. Like, that's how I can describe it, as, like, they're the odd couple, like, was it the comedy duo? Like, they're a good comedy duo in that they kind of, like, bicker and bounce off one another. But also, like, when they're bonding and, like, getting drunk and shit-faced together, and they're like, yeah, I know how it feels, kiddo. It's you and me against the world. Yeah. And it's like, okay. You two are dweebs. And Boss is just like, I need pictures now. Like, real. But yeah, Suzanne's just got that very good, tough girl that's, like, very charming and sincere. That really, really works very well for the character.
Yeah, she's basically the yin to Lizette's yang because, well, the way she kind of has to interact as the landlord is kind of unusual because, for one thing, when I started rewatching this, I forgot she had a name, but her name's only uttered by the boss, and that's Rio. And I looked up what Rio means in Japanese. It has many meanings: amount, boss, and of course dragon. And if you ever watched Clean House and you've seen the Dragon Lady, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Which I think is kind of apt for the landlord because, she can be a bit bossy at times, but she is caring even if she doesn't always show it. And that whole fight between her and her sister seems nonsensical at points, but it is kind of warming towards the end. And Suzanne did a very good job. And little fun fact, when I was doing research for this episode, she did a classic cosplay of the landlord for her final session. And she's only one or two people that did that. Yeah, we'll get to later. But I thought it was very neat that, for actors that really take initiatives in the roles, she did a very good job playing the landlord. Bar none.
Yeah, I really like Suzanne's performance as the landlord because Rio, if there's any character who's like the snarky one in it, it is Rio, and she tends to get a lot of the really good one-liners across the show. By far, I think the funniest joke is her delivery in the final episode because Jahy kind of gets roped into this kid's competition at the festival. She's like, I don't know why she's bragging. She's a grown-ass adult.
Yeah. And that's another thing, too, that I like about this series, because it's it makes no bones about it. They see Jahy as a kid, but they all know that she's an adult. And it doesn't seem to weird anybody out, really.
The only person who ever questions it is the cop who arrests Jahy for trespassing after dark.
Did she shrink?
Yeah, she was shrinking because she was trying to find the magic girl.
Yeah, that magical girl thing was in and of itself its own socket, but anyway.
And there's one other section that I really liked with Suzanne, and that was during the wrestling segment where I think you told me she was kind of doing an imitation. I think it was either Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage.
I think it was Macho Man, and then George just asked her, "Can you do a Macho Man?" And she's like, "The best I got is Danny DeVito."
Oh.
I'm the trash man. I drink trash and I throw it all over the ring.
So anyways, I started wrestling.
But yeah. Landlord.
So
she's a good character. And she does have moments of levity where she turns out to be a really nice person. Like when Jahy gets sick, she was watching over her. And when the magical girl broke into her apartment and stole.
Yeah.
You're being really sketchy right now. But yeah. Really. No, I definitely break out performance.
When we talk about Brittany, that was a. Yeah. Natalie Hoover's the boss. I really like Natalie Hoover's the boss. I mean, I think it's a character that kind of goes out of their way, but I didn't really find anything really spectacular. I just find her to be a very hardy character. I just find Natalie to play her very well. Surprisingly, I don't really have anything to say other than any antics that she and Jahy kind of get up to is pretty much more or less of a Jahy's free will or something, or if incidents happen because of the monocrystals, or how she kind of looks a bit dumb because she exacerbates or overthinks everything. Especially with the menu tasting scene, where the narrator has to point out that she's just tired from overthinking to not thinking at all.
She is literally lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm. A sauce that she improvised on the spot.
But yeah, no.
I work in the kitchen too much.
Natalie is definitely very warm, sweet, sincere. You can just feel the love every time she calls her he. And it's just she's trying to be a good big sister and doing her best. Also, there's a real good scene with the both of them as they're trying to imitate Jahy's mannerisms while still playing themselves. I'm like, that's pretty funny. You can just hear Natalie E. Hoover being like, I'm the dark rail, I won't be... okay, that's pretty good. But, no, I really like Natalie. as an aside, Boss can get it. Boss can get it.
Hell yeah, she can get it.
Oh, Boss can get it. I think the author of Jahy is very brave, smart, and based for putting the big mommy milker's boss lady in a skimpy magical girl outfit where she is just pouring out of that. Like, just objectively based. Objectively based. Correct choice. Y'all are silent, but you know if I didn't say it, you would be silently nodding in approval.
I was just thinking to myself, I can tell which character is the author's favorite because of the two magical girls. She doesn't have pants on.
Okay, no. The author's favorite is clear. Like, let's be real, there is as much love, passion, and lust that goes into designing Prime Jahy. I feel like I need to specify Prime Jahy because I feel like if I don't specify, that makes me think itty bitty Jahy. So I think Jahy Prime, or I don't know, Dominatrix Jahy or Demon Jahy, whatever gets the point across. Anyways, that's the character he draws with
Let's
one
just
hand.
call her True Jahy. How about that?
Let's call her Base Jahy.
Base
The little kid
Jahy.
version.
Jesus Christ. Oh, shut
I'm
up.
talking Base Jahy.
God, God, I thought you said chicken Jahy, and I was gonna kill you. Alright.
Well, I'm gonna enjoy hearing this again when I edit this.
Alright, anyways. Yes, I really like Natalie Rose Hoover as the boss, and I think Suzanne is definitely a real surprise breakout performance, and I think really, like, won me over, especially, like, by the end of the show. I think Suzanne's definitely somebody I really would like to see in another, like, anime comedic role.
Alright, so if I had to hop in, yeah, when it comes to the manager, some like actors, they just have the natural voice to do specific archetypes, and I know sometimes they try to like escape the typecast, but like Natalie Hoover is just like the inflection of her voice is just perfect for the type of character the manager is. Because like, if Kokoro's the impressionable kid who kind of takes everything Jahy says at face value, the manager is just like the mom who's like, yeah, okay, I believe what you're saying, sweetie. And like, she doesn't get condescending about it, but you can kind of tell she doesn't take a lot of what Jahy says to heart, but she just like plays along with her. But it's like, I don't know, I really like the manager throughout it, and even something as simple as the way she says he throughout the show. I know in the sub she says he-chan instead, but he's just such a silly nickname that just works.
Which is funny because it does work, definitely. Which is funny because in the manga she calls her Sweetie.
Oh, that's got some real Southern MILF energy to it. Oh, I don't have a problem. You have a problem.
Anywho, yeah, these two did pretty good. Now we're getting very close to the meat of the show. The magical girl in Druge. Let's start with Druge because Jesus Christ, man, I have a lot to say.
It's a simp off.
Oh, Monet is just okay. That is just. There's a lot of characters that are like really hamming it up. I think Druge is like hamming it up in like potentially the most unhinged. Like, I feel like of all of them, Druge is like the most likely to do like an exorcist wall crawl and like vomit. That's the level of like unhinged, like debaucherous, like thirst kink she is. Like, my god, she wants those slutty stilettos to step all over her and call her a bad bitch. Call her a bad girl, and she's like, yes, I've been such a bad girl. I don't know why I made her sound like she's smoking for a second. Anyways, but yeah, no, Monet is like delightfully unhinged as Druge. I think she's very prim and proper when she has to be the CEO boss girl, but you can tell she is practically gushing at the seams during that whole Demon Lord party where she's getting her mistress to sit all over her, and she's having such a good time, and she's so sad when she's got work calls and obligations. Oh man. Oh, the fact that she gets so into it when she's called a disgusting freak. Monet is delightfully unhinged in a way that, I was not expecting. But I very much enjoyed it. Very, very uniquely goofy performance. I like Monet in this.
Yeah, so Druge is the type of character where the wrong type of performance would make it hit worse, because a lot of her humor is being the abused pervert, where she is the sub who wants Jahy to abuse her, but I feel like Monet perfectly straddles that line of never going too far with the character that it makes you.
Oh, Druge is straddling something, all right.
But I think my thing is I never felt uncomfortable listening to Monet's performance. And what really threw me off was those few scenes where you kind of see Druge as a normal CEO, a competent CEO running her businesses.
If I had to describe it, Druge is basically goth Lolita Darkness from Konosuba.
Yeah.
Yep, yeah, I can see that now.
And at this point, it's her and the magical girl are basically rivals for Jahy's affections. And they both have their own issues to work through before they become viable options. Which, I posed this question earlier to you, and I gotta ask again. Is Jahy a harem protagonist?
In a way she is, but the funny thing about Jahy is the one who she pines for the most is more attached to a different character entirely. So this is a gamer situation where the love chart is just all over the place.
Oh my god. A fucking gamer.
See, I was trying to think hard by when you called call Druge a goth Lolita Darkness, because I'm like, uh-oh, I got Konosuba form in my head. I'm just concerned who would be the Megumin in that situation. I know who Wiz would be, but...
I mean, let's see, hang on, I'm trying to think about it right now, actually. Oh, it's fucking Sarva! It's Sarva, straight up.
Yeah, I thought so too. The only difference is she kind of fails trying many magics, whereas Megumin only knows one spell and one spell only.
Anyways,
and she just blows shit up.
look, Sarva's good at what she does, and what she does is her very best. We will not bully her. Okay, moving on. I really like Monet, a learner, but also,
yeah. Monet has a lot in her hands having to voice Druge, because when I first listened to her, I thought that she was a combination. She sounded to me like a combination of both Natalie Hoover, who we already talked about in the last section, and Sarah Ragsdale. To the point I had to list Helco on here because I could have sworn Sarah Ragsdale voiced that character, but nope, I was wrong. It just further exacerbates my point that a lot of times a lot of these new actors can sound similar to some actors, and I really think Monet kind of evokes that in playing Druge, because Druge does definitely seem like a unique type of character I've never heard before, so the only right unique type of actress, because I personally think anybody else playing her would probably have a hard time at dealing with the masochism that Druge puts up with. I'm still concerned about that chainsaw at the beginning, but I thought Monet really knocked out Park's character. I obviously have heard a lot from her over the years. Yeah, I mean the most recent thing I can think of is either the Ice Blade Sorcerer or Campfire Cookie, in other words, but I think that might have been Suzanne. But anyway, I thought she did very well.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
So, Brittany fucking Karbowski is no stranger to anything at this point. And I was still kind of surprised that it's like a slightly deeper Brittany Karbowski than I think like I was expecting for the magical girl. But also like it's pretty like regal, unhinged, but also like what I can only describe as like love bombing weirdo that's trying to figure it out for the first time. She's trying to figure out friends and relationships and like very sheltered weirdo. Like okay, I'm going to say something extremely cursed. Bear with me on this one. I think I'm cooking. Forgive me if this one's raw. Kyoko Jingu is reacting to Jahy like... Okay. Like a homeschooled high schooler getting their first Discord boyfriend or girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Like, that level of like, I really do feel something, but I am very emotionally stunted in the environment I have lived in for many years, and I don't know what is the right way to do this. I don't know what's the wrong way to do this. I might be awkward, I might be clingy, I might be love bomby. Please forgive all the DMs. I might have bad thoughts. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. Sorry, I just went to bed early. What's up?
I mean, Jahy was literally her first friend.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, the Dark Realm is kinda like Canada.
What?
You know Jackson kick your ass for that, right?
Look, what I'm saying is I didn't say the Discord Canadian relationship, but I thought it. Anyways, Brittany Karbowski's a fucking riot. Just a master comedian as far as like anime dubbing goes. Just doing her best. Like I said, hey Jahy, how you doing, Jahy? We're going to work together. This is gonna be so great. What is wrong, Jahy? I thought you said you loved me. And I'm like, oh, Drew's just so mad. This is a cast of weirdos and freaks that are kind of just trying to figure it out. It's not quite always sunny, but it's like, what's a good comparison? Anyways, there are a bunch of... Anyways, not what we do in the shadow.
The Office.
I don't know. I need more sitcoms for reference. Anyways, but legit, I really like Brittany Karbowski. I think it's a very, very fun performance, and like I think it's really fun seeing like a veteran getting to bounce alongside like more greener actors, and like the real magical comedic synergy you got from multiple parties, including Monet, including Crystal, and especially including Jahy and Lizette. Alright, I'm done.
So, Brittany as the magical girl, it's funny, this thought just kind of occurred to me where we kind of have a spectrum of three different characters who kind of like the whipping character. There's Sarva, who basically she's the bad luck Brian, where everything that can go wrong will go wrong for her. There's Jahy, who she goes through a lot, but a lot of it is her own fault. So you kind of just laugh at her because like everything that happens to her was her own actions. The magical girl, you would almost start to feel sorry for her, but then like the flip switches were, you notice that she does it to get Jahy's attention, where she pretends to be this victim just because she wants Jahy to notice her. And this is like some type of weird love language she's sending Jahy's way. And it's like the moment that Sarva is trying to set all those Looney Tune traps again. And Brittany's performance where she's basically begging Jahy to come and save her, and Jahy just ignores her the entire time. Yeah. And then when Sarva tries to save her...
I hate to love you. I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go.
And then there's also the moment, like, where her and Druge was having a little argument in the restaurant, and Jahy was scolding... Jahy was scolding the magical girl, and, like, the magical girl is, like, smugly smiling at Druge over it.
Oh yeah, she's giving it to me. It's like, girl, what are you doing?
It's like, Druge, you are sitting on the chair.
Oh my god, she's forcing Druge to sit in the cuck corner.
Oh my god.
But yeah, magic, like, Brittany, she's really great at comedy, and like one of my favorite lines is when where the demon lord eats her lunch and gives her the empty lunch box. She's just like, "Curse you, demon lord!" So yeah, I think she does the job well, and this is another character who I think, like, the good thing about this show is like the characters are kind of peppered in throughout the series, so like no one gag kind of overstays its welcome. So when the magical girl does pop up, she's always funny.
Yeah. I think what did it for me was, and I've said this in multiple episodes before, where when he has that kind of duality, you first hear he's like, oh, that's Brittany Karbowski. But then when you see it's something you don't normally see her do outside of her archetype, you're like, that's Brittany Karbowski? And I think that was at the moment when we were first introduced to her at Jahy's apartment, where she's trying to retrieve the monocrystal. And she speaks with a formal intonation in her voice. And when I've watched a lot of Brittany Karbowski characters, and most of them kind of range from like Gremlin to like Tomboy to like young girls and stuff. Never have I seen her play a tall magical girl who's very formal and I guess to put in your words, Josh, a bit of an exhibitionist in a way, but I think that's one of the reasons I gave her my Best Supporting Award, Best Supporting W, is because she manages to play something outside her normal archetype, or for her to do something that's really in line with her usual character type. So, but going back to that apartment scene, I think one of the things that really kind of hooked me onto her was again when you introduced. And then you hear the Terminator music start playing in the background. Which, by the way, I counted, that shows up no less than 4 times in the entire series. That was pretty funny. And then when she gets pulled away by the cops, she's like, I'll be back. And then they pull her off kicking and screaming. And I'm like, oh, man. Oh, this is going to be a good one. But yeah, having to play that range of emotions, because she just go from happy to sad to overly joyous to prideful, a bit of exhibitionism is very unique. Especially when she has to deal with the Dark Lord, living in her house, eating all her food and stuff. It kind of wears a lot on her. So it was nice seeing something that's a usual change from Brittany's pace. I thought she did a very good job. Of course, that all pales in comparison to the Dark Lord's second in command, Jahy. Which, you know what, I think I'm actually going to go first on this. Because up until I saw this series for the first time, I had never heard of Lisette Monique Diaz before that. And I was kind of taken aback by this character and how she portrays her, because Jahy is a bundle of fun. I will say, though, one thing I realized is the way the character's voice comes off. It's like a cross between the vocal stylings of Michaela Krantz, at least in the adult form, but also in the gremlin form, and the cartoon antics of Eric Cartman.
Jesus Christ.
And you know I'm not wrong for this, because the way she has to put up with the landlord because she's too cheap to pay the rent, it definitely spoke Eric Cartman.
I could hear like dweeb Jahy going, "Screw you guys, I'm going home."
Going home. That's because the landlady's she's a big fat, "Screw you guys, I'm going home." Mm-hmm. Pay me, pay me, pay me! Never, never, never! No, landlord, that's my pie. Okay, I'm abusing the hell out of this, but the point is, it really spoke to me comedic wise. But I think probably the most standout moment, ironically enough, also one of my nitpicky moments, was the menu tasting scene, where you can not only hear Gremlin Jahy, you can hear true Jahy, and you can hear what sounds to be Lizette's true voice in any anime. And having to hear all three of those, I thought it really put a very unique perspective.
It all came out during
in
the
addition
Food
to
Wars
Jahy's character development.
It all came out during the Food Wars foodgasm.
Oh god. Yeah. Yeah. Even she was taken aback by that, but I thought that was a very great standout, and if I could go back and do that W all over again, I'd give her another W for that. But because she was just fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, I definitely.
Although
think I remember
I'm not gonna lie, that
there was a couple of people I was literally locked in with multiple people. It's like, who's somebody I want to keep an eye out on from a performance? And I think I remember I was really, really impressed with Lizette's performance as Jahy, because it is a comedic tour de force. It is a sliding scale of like big, tall, confident, sexy demoness and tiny little baby goblin that is just trying to make ends meet. And it is impressive to fluctuate between both of those in a way that sounds legitimately natural. Like I mentioned, like I thought Kokoro was like kind of struggling. Lizette makes it sound natural, fluctuating between the two, which is frankly even more impressive. How comfortable it sounds. But like it's just genuinely a lot of heart. Like it's sweet, but also like the indignation. It's funny. It's angry. It's oh yeah. Also, you want to talk about kinks? Jahy is an unabashed praise king. Just wants to be praised all the time, and she eats that up. You can just tell how happy she is getting praised. She loves it so much. Hardcore praise king. Everybody in this cast has at least some kind of kink, except Kokoro. Kokoro's a good girl.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, legitimately. Lizette is somebody like I still stand by. I'm very impressed, and like I really do want to see her in more stuff. I was legitimately like very, very impressed with their performance as Jahy. Top to bottom, episode 1 to episode 20, just fucking like amazing tour de force of a performance.
So, I know I joked about Crystal Laporte having the best performance in the show, but, like, honestly, Lizette really does carry the show. I mean, with Jahy as the main character, because she does two really distinct voices, because as Jahy, she has this bratty, really scratchy voice. I like Jamal calling it, like, Eric Cartman, because now, like, I really do hear it, where she kind of does, like, this perfect balance of being, like, an indignant brat, but also, like, indignant brat, but really, like, defensive as well whenever she's called out on her childishness. But the funny thing is, like, prime Jahy or adult Jahy, like, I don't find it very sultry. It almost feels like someone who's posturing to someone who's trying to act sultry without actually being sultry. And I feel like that kind of makes it even funnier when she's in her adult form. Like, you guys get what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, play acting trying to, like, appear as something without, like, actually doing the thing can be, like, a really hard thing to do, and I think Lizette does a really great job at it. So this is kind of one of those performances where I kind of have a hard time imagining any other actor, like, stepping into the role as well. So, like, she made it worth it, and, like, with, like, little Jahy with the scratchy voice, that could get really easy to be, like, an irritating voice, too, but I think she does, like, a great job of emoting while having to do that childish voice.
Yeah, because I remember reading somewhere that when he was casting for the show, Lizette was the first person Mr. Ray cast because of that gremlin voice. Because, of course, like 60, maybe 70% of the time we see Jahy in her gremlin form. Mm-hmm. The other 30% being the true form. That duality or triality, if you're watching the you see, was very impressive to him. Also, I can imagine like how she. I can't imagine like how she managed to deal with that strain of screaming. Not because she's screaming, but because the pitch she has to scream at. Especially with that one scene where the birds are trying to take her lunch from her, and Salva just pulls her out the way, and she's not having it. Or, of course, the petty squabbles between the Demon Lord sisters. So having that ferocity in her voice, man, she really brings it.
Oh, and I forgot to mention my favorite Jahy joke. It is when she goes on the adventure to find the Mana Crystal in the forest and she gets lost. And then the punchline is she's just in the backyard of her apartment complex.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Also, I wanted to go back to one thing because you did remind me of something, Andrew, when we were talking about Brittany Lauder.
What's that?
I completely forgot about that. I completely forgot about the episode where she imitated Jahy using the drug she developed. And I know you'd be glad that they did not do the one thing most anime do is have her use the actual Jahy voice. They just kept Brittany's voice because you could tell. Well, she didn't switch bodies, but she just transformed Salva into Jahy.
Oh,
and I thought that was pretty neat.
I was saying it's just like that one Justice League episode where Lex Luthor and Flash switched bodies.
Oh yeah, I have no idea who this is.
Because I'm evil.
But now that we bring it, I think it's best we bring it on home. Time for final thoughts. So, gentlemen, what did you think of this show, this dub overall?
I think it is definitely not, like, a perfect product overall. It's definitely one of those things I could see, like, it's probably going to be a niche favorite, but like a good, hot batch of, like, karage chicken with, like, a tall glass of beer, something about it just hits right. There's something about it that's just kind of cozy and fun in a way that, like I just describe it less as, like, a high-octane, chaotic sitcom, and a lot more, like, kind of just, like, I wouldn't say it's laid back, but it's a lot more like syndicated sitcom where it's like, I like these characters, I like seeing them in strange, bizarre situations, and it's kind of comforting getting to hang out with them for like half an hour or so. I'd say the same as of the dub. The dub is an interesting little passion project in that it's seeing a lot of like people who are like relatively new to the anime dubbing side of things. Like it was Jonathan Reagan his first year. Ben Phillips, I think it was one of his first scripts. And definitely a mix of, like, people who were more accustomed to anime dubbing and people who were basically having, like, their first real breakout performances in a show like Jahy. Including several of which where it's like, I definitely would want to see more of them. Like, I gave Lizette Diaz my Voice Actor to Watch award during the year Jahy was running for a reason, because I was damn impressed with her work as Jahy, as well as many other members of the cast. This is a strange, charming little funny show. I enjoyed revisiting this more than I expected. I'm glad you pushed and finally got this episode off the ground, Jamal. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I find myself agreeing with Andrew. I wouldn't really call this like one of my favorite comedies or one of my favorite comedy dubs, but this is a very solid show from top to bottom. And as far as like the casting, the writing, the directing, I think this is kind of the textbook example of everyone knew the assignment and they did it well. I thought that a lot of the jokes they kind of like inserted to kind of enhance the gags was just enough not to be distracting, but to like get a really good chuckle out of me. I thought like a lot of the main performances was very strong. No one was like so over the top that it took me out of it, and it would be something that I would watch again like in the future. So I do recommend it.
Yeah, when I first watched the show when the dub came out, I was very enthralled because not only was Mr. Rig he was more or less new to anime directing at this time, and a couple other things he had directed that I wasn't completely interested in. So it was kind of interesting to see what he could do. And having seen this lineup, you would think that it kind of be a training wheel stub or nothing to watch at really. But if it wasn't for Greg, I probably would have came around to this show after a long time. So, anyway, the point I'm trying to make is when I watched this dub, the dub was very good. It was very entertaining. It kind of filled a niche for me when it came to comedies and stuff, because watching comedic anime, let alone slice of life anime, it is very comforting and it is very soothing for me, because when you try to watch anime seasonally, like a lot of people try to hook you on one thing and you're not really kind of interested until something catches you. Right? I do think the great Jahy would not be defeated. It's definitely something that should be on your radar. Give this dub a chance, and I think you'll like it the same way yourself too. And if you want to watch this dub for yourself, there's only one way you can currently do it at the moment, and that is to watch it on Crunchyroll, because for whatever fucking reason, this dub has been out for almost 3 years now and does not have a home video release. I do not know or understand why that is, and I cannot and will not speculate because it is not my area of expertise. All I can say is I know for a fact it's out available in Japan on Blu-ray. Why can't we get it here in the US? But before I get further pissed off, like I said, that is the only way to watch this show. It's on Crunchyroll. If you want to watch this podcast, however, we are available on YouTube at Dub Talk Podcast, on Spotify, Podbean, on RSS feeds, even on Patreon, wherever you get your podcast audio. As for what we get up to, gentlemen, go ahead and plug yourselves.
Hi there. My name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me over on the Blue Skies at classyspartan.bluesky.social. You can also find me on the Bad Place at MangaMan9000, which I have, at this point, it's whatever. I care more about my Blue Sky account at this point. That's the one more active. But you can also hear me on Surreal Resolutions Podcast O&A, where I talk about the latest and greatest anime news with fellow podcast co-host Jet. And yeah, I do Dub Talk. I'm also going to plug my partner's Twitch channel, Lilac Anime Review, spelled REVUE, where we're doing a lot more, where she's doing a lot more streams and stuff. I want to support her in her endeavor for playing video games. I believe by the time this goes up, we should be starting a playthrough for No Sleep. You know what? This could go up whenever. There will be games I will probably want to play with her. We'll see. I'll show up every now and then. Anyways, have a good time.
Alright, I am Josh, Crimson Echidna. I am a friend of the podcast, so not sure when's the next time I'm going to be on. Maybe another 3 years, who knows. You can catch me on Blue Sky. Same identity, Crimson Echidna. Just kind of post random crap. I would like to maybe start a Twitch channel at some point in the future, but I mean, I still have my 9-to-5 job, so I don't know, I might just do that for a hobby. So yeah, it was nice to be on again.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. As for me, what I get up to, I'm the assistant editor for the podcast. I can be found at the Dark Realm at Jamstar529. I can also be found in the Light Realm at jamstar529.bsky.social. I'm holding it down in the Dark Realm for now. Gotta sit on the name until somebody shatters the Mana Crystal or kicks the proprietor's crown jewels. But as for us, what we get up to with the Dub Talk podcast, as I've stated, you can hear new episodes from us every other Friday. We also have a Patreon and Ko-fi if you want to contribute, to which, if you submit $5 to our Patreon, you can get your name at least read out on air, such as thank you to Bright Ice 505, Quinoa Soup, Marissa Lenti, Megan's mom and dad, and Michelle Travis. But for $10, you can enter into our quarterly Patreon raffle, which, depending on this episode, is either open or closed at the time of this recording. To which we'd like to thank Anthony Brown, Kylie Leistercal, Julia W, Pika Greg, and Shoulder. So yeah, that's where you can find most of us. I am interested in trying to get to streaming, but thanks to my 9-to-5, or I wish I had a 9-to-5 job, shit's kind of hit the fan for right now, so I'm getting back on my grind.
Is Jahy basically a show that's catharsis by proxy because of how much of it's in a kitchen?
Yeah, except she's serving, so I don't know how the payment system works. I do know that tipping is illegal in Japan.
Look, I've seen the drawings from the author. She's definitely serving something, all right.
Oh my god. Anyway, and you find the words
good night, everybody.
Off, or?
This was fun. Alright.
Alright, from us to y'all, good night, Otakuan, and keep it magical.
Make sure to take your dog girlfriends out for walkies. Good night.
Night night.